like to introduce to you our speaker for today. Her name is Jenna Larson. Jenna is a lifelong seeker, born into a long line of Indigenous healers and guided by ancestors whose love continues to light her path. She is the grateful mother of 2 amazing children, cherishes their loving partners, and delights in being a grandmother. And the second page is missing. So excuse me for a moment. There's always a copy nearby. There we go. Delights in being a grandmother to a 1-year-old who has become a living reminder of her why. By sharing her spiritual journey with her small corner of the planet, Jenna hopes to help us remember who we truly are, why we are here, and how deeply we belong to one another. The title of her talk today is The Transformation of Remembering. The Transformation of Remembering explores how memory, through philosophical insight and lived experience, shapes who we are and how we find meaning amid uncertainty. Through story and reflection, Jenna invites you to return to yourself, reclaiming what has been forgotten or fragmented by the noise of daily life. Ultimately, it offers remembering as an act of transformation, one that brings clarity, grounding, and renewed sense of wholeness in a chaotic world. Would you please welcome with me, Jenna Larson?
Thanks. Appreciate you. Ooh. As I was listening to what he was saying, I was like, who is he talking about? When you hear somebody else talk about you, it's kind of weird, right? That's a very Indigenous thing that just happened, because you don't talk about yourself typically in Indigenous culture. You allow the people who know you best to say who you are. That's who you are. So when you listen to what someone else says you are, they're mirroring to you what they see, right? And I just think that that is so beautiful. And coming from, so thank you, Lance. I appreciate you for sharing that with me, and that's seems like a lot to live up to. But I'm very humbled and honored to be here with you today, because I don't know if you know this, but every single one of you who is in this room was meant to be here today, right now. And for the past couple weeks, you guys have been on my heart and have been changing me energetically. And so I have to say thank you for what you've already done for my heart. And you didn't even know it. What? Like, you just showed up here and you were like, wait, what? So I just want you to know I'm your kind of weird. Because all of us are little weirdos, and we found each other on this planet, and so you'll get to know me a little bit better. But the cool thing about story, because I'm just here to like share story today, because for my people, story is how we find ourselves, how we find and remember our meaning, and how we connect with each other. Because every time someone tells a story, you're like, oh, and you find yourself in that, right? You find yourself somewhere in that story. And so I would like to share some story with you today, but my ancestors would not be very happy with me if I didn't say, introduce myself, how my people do that. So my native name is Tenya Lolawan, and you're going to think it's funny. I think it's funny what it means. It means the one who knows things. And I'm like, I don't know much, but okay, I'll try to like live into that, right? So people trying to live up to their names, I think that that's very fun. And I come from, my mom's side is from the Southwest tribes of the United States, and so Pueblo, Navajo, Anasazi, Mexican, and on my dad's side, Norwegian. So got a little Viking blood in me. Can you see the horns? Anyway, my dad's name is Marty, and he's still with me in spirit. He died in 2021 from COVID, and my mom is Juanita. Very Mexican sounding name, right? And my grandparents are Esther and Edward Harmon, and my dad's side of the family are Larsons. How much more Norwegian can you get, right? So Norman and Jeanette. So now that I've done that, now they'll be happy. So so now we can get started. But this first story that I'm going to tell you has absolutely nothing to do with my cultures, but it has to do with our collective cultures and the philosophy of the ancient philosophers. So like back in Greek and Roman times, there was some really awesome guys named Plato and Socrates. And they had this idea that there was the world of the seen and a world of the unseen. So we live in the world of the seen. And the world of the unseen is just past the veil. And past the veil, before we come here, our souls are like, I wonder how I can level up. I wonder what I can do to grow. I wonder what I can do to learn. And where do I want to go to school? And we make these sacred contracts. So the idea is that we contract with the people that are going to be our mom, the person that's going to be our dad, our annoying siblings, the siblings that we're really tight with, our cousins that are more like siblings than they are cousins, you know. And then what happens is we drink from the chalice drawn from the lake of forgetfulness, right? And then we like incarnate. And then we immediately regret it. Where did my dog? Like, what is this life all about? I can't remember why I'm here and I don't like it. And so all of us are in the same boat. And we come here and we have to start somehow remembering who and what we are. And the people that we have contracted with to teach us sometimes are teaching us the hard way, right? Some of us didn't have great moms. Some of us didn't have great dads. Some of us had some really horrible childhoods, you know, or parts of it that were horrible. And then taking away what we can from that, as we start on our spiritual journey, we're like, okay, I've learned a little bit of this and I've learned some of that. And then we like start like collating it. And we start realizing, oh, I did learn something from that. Well, that sucked. I don't want to do that again. But I learned like how to navigate just a little bit more, right? And And then we start going through life, and we go from the baby stage, and we're toddlers, and somehow we know that we're all of that. You ever seen a little toddler just walk around like they're all that? My son, when he was 2, would walk around like big as you please. He acted like he owned the room. He would walk in and he'd be like, hi, hello. You know, he was just like one of those. My daughter, on the other hand, deer in headlights. They talk to me. Right? Like all these different personalities that come together in our lives, and here we are learning who to be, right? So we come here to learn and to teach the lessons that our souls come here to learn and to teach, and the people that are in our lives are somehow there to help us, right? So this is just a thought. This is just a theory, okay? I'm not teaching this as if it's like fact. This is just a story, okay? So here's this theory that these, you know, these sacred contracts happen, and then we have like this human experience, and we come here in order to transform, right? To level up. And in transformation, what it looks like is it's kind of like when you're in you're in a group of improv people. Okay, I heard you say that. So you're in a group of improv people, and it's always yes and, right? So you have like this yes and then we're going through life, and you have this yes and then you are like, wait a second, if the world is my oyster, I'm going to see what I can create out of this. So we get to the point where we're like starting to learn, starting to grow, and then something happens, right? We get to a place where we're like in this dark, icky, sticky place, and our psyche feels like under attack. I heard you say dark night of the soul last week, or maybe the week before. And so what I thought was really fun was, in the Greek, the word psyche means both butterfly and soul. And our ability to like come together and transform our minds. And I'm like, ooh, I like that a lot. So it has to feel really dark. It has to feel really like the world is ending, I would imagine, for that caterpillar in that chrysalis. In that dark night of the soul. And all of us have been there. That's what draws us together in this human experience, is knowing what that feels like. All of us have experienced loss. All of us have experienced some sort of traumatic event, right? And that's what brings us together. And then here we have like that phoenix, right? That symbol of like rising from the ashes, right? And or springtime. We have springtime. Let's start fresh. How about let's have some newness, right? And all of us come to those places where we're like, oh yay, okay, so now that was really hard, and now let's move on, right? Because okay, hopefully I learned that lesson. Well, what is really intriguing to me, at least in my life, is that throughout life we get continuous cyclical. It's like you're going up a circular staircase. So you're seeing the same thing just from a different angle now. Kind of like, I don't know what it feels to you, but what it feels to me is like the universe is sometimes saying, Did you really get the lesson? Are you sure? And so I have to revisit some of these things and remember who and what I am, which is kind of nuts because I think I forgot who I am about 3 times on the way here when somebody pulled out in front of me on a nice road. It happened, right? And then I'm like, wait a second. Okay. I am love. I am like karma. And so we have like this idea of rebirth. And how many times, like, do we think, ooh, a brand new day? A brand new day. Okay. Each day. That's why I love coffee. I think that's why I love coffee the most. Because it symbolizes to me a brand new day. And it also makes me think, like, the word espresso means to push through. And the water is pushed through that coffee, those coffee grounds, right? And what happens is like this transformation of water into like this sacred bean juice that helps with energy and focus and addiction. No, I'm just kidding. And so when we have like these symbols of like transformation that we can start again wherever we are in each minute, each day, each minute, each year, like here we are in January and it's a brand new year and you hear people saying, oh, new year, new you, all of that. And really, the transformation is happening on a little microscopic level every day with your tiny little habits and the tiny little things that you do. I want to see if there's anybody here that is a marine biologist. Anybody? Excellent. I can pretend I know how to say this word. It's a Teratopsis dorini. It's a Teratopsis dorini. It's a jellyfish. The immortal jellyfish is what this is. And this, I know that it feels like a little ironic that I'm using a jellyfish as a more concrete example than a phoenix for transformation. But stay with me. The reason this is called the immortal jellyfish is because when it gets to the end of a cycle, it mates and it reproduces and then it goes back to its polyp state. So it shrinks down, it gets smaller, its tentacles like shrink up, and it goes back down to the bottom of the ocean to start its life cycle all over again. And I think that that is so intriguing because it feels like I could learn something from that. Down at the bottom of the ocean, it is dark. Water, what does it symbolize in spirituality? What does water symbolize? Emotion, exactly. So here we are in this dark night of the soul. We're at the bottom of our ocean, emotionally overwhelmed, right? It's dark. You feel like that primordial ooze that little caterpillar must feel like. And then we start to transform. And it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't look good. But if we stick with it, and we stick together, something starts happening. That transformation from the inside out. That's where the magic happens. So as we're transforming, we start to seek. And when you're an honest seeker, you look everywhere. And you start listening. And your ears prick up and you're like, wait a second, what was that? And you start going towards whatever it is. And the universe leaves you breadcrumbs, right? Like where you're supposed to go, introducing you to somebody random. And then you're in front of people sharing some stories. And these people just feel like, oh, wow, your hearts are open and beautiful too. And things start to shift, right? Well, when you start to seek, sometimes you go to a guru. I did. And the guru asked, of the trees, which is the strongest? And in my mind, because I had spent most of my adult life looking at what I could say was empirically substantiated, I started thinking, okay, the density and how many years and blah, blah, you know, I started like thinking of all these things, and then I was like, oh, I wonder, like, what is the strongest tree? I don't know. And he was making the analogy of, being like nature, of course. Our gurus always show us back to nature and back to love. But really, it's the ability to be flexible. So the tree that is the strongest, have you ever seen in a hurricane how those palm trees like lay down? They will lay down. And then they come back up, sometimes, after the hurricane is gone. And it's the ability to be flexible and to live in that question. What question? What question? That's up to you. Because all of us have those questions, those burning questions inside of us where we want to know, we want to learn. And the beautiful thing about wanting to learn is that the universe is going to conspire with you to bring you what you want. When you seek, you will find, sort of thing. So there's something that stops us. All of us have experienced it. I work with veterans, and veterans are like a whole nother breed. How many veterans we got here? Yes. And yes, thank you. And so my veterans that have experienced a nervous system, let's say traumatic event, what happens is you're able to stay alive and stay focused in the moment. And a lot of times what happens afterwards is then you fall apart. I was talking with my friend just 2 nights ago, and we were talking about all the ups and downs of life. And he's a veteran, and he said, I am really good in the middle of the fray. Like, I'm really good in the middle of, like, his dad just passed, and he was the rock for his family. And afterwards, when everybody else was done crying, well, relatively, you know what I mean, he was like a mess. And he's like, I know I'm going to get through this. It's just really painful at the moment. So when traumatic events, when grief, when anger, all of these things start coming onto us, we're realizing now we have science to back us up that we need connection during those times, right? But our nervous system is just there to keep us alive, right? And anything new is dangerous. It could kill you, just in case you were wondering. Because anthropologically speaking, we were trained, like it is in our DNA to avoid things that are new, because it could have been really dangerous. It could have been life or death, right? Just like had a little jitter before I came up here and started talking with you guys. You know why? I might die. I'm dying right now. No, I'm not. But it's something that is, we are anthropologically predisposed to want to be accepted by the people around us, right? We just want to be accepted. We just want to, oh, please like me. Because back in the day, during the saber-toothed tigers and the woolly mammoths and everything, what would happen is if somebody wasn't liked, and if enough people didn't like them, they were like, you know, and if you were shunned, if you were outside of the group, who is going to protect you from that saber-toothed tiger, right? And so nowadays we don't have to worry about that, but it's still in our DNA. It's still there. Nowadays we just call it ego, right? Like my ego was getting in the way because I was like nervous. And I don't even know why. Because your hearts are just like mine. You have beautiful, amazing hearts. Look at you beautiful souls sitting here. And I thought to myself as I was sitting there, okay, what do I want at the end of this? At the end of our little chat here, what do I really want? And what I really want is for you to remember who and what you are and who we can be together. You are beautiful. You are soul. You are spirit having this like crazy human experience just like me. We are the same. And all of your struggle, all of your crazy joy, all of that love, all of that joy, all of that peace that you have, all of the excruciating pain that you've been through, all of the trauma, all of the everything. And here we are. And all of us have that shared experience on some level. I'm not afraid of you. You're the same as me. But we have nervous systems, right? Oh, I wanted to tell you, Kyle Cease, he's one of my favorite people that I've never met yet. I will meet him someday. He wrote this book, and I haven't read it, but I love the title. I'm judging a book by its cover. I hope I messed this up. How falling in love with your fears can change the world. And I love that. Like, what if we fell in love with our fears? What would that look like? No. What would that feel like? What are we most afraid of? I was just watching something, and the Buddhist monks in the Himalayas were sharing their wisdom. And someone asked them, like, how do I find happiness? How do I find happiness? They've been studying this in the Himalayas for like forever, right? And the monk says, remember that you're going to die. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? Remember you're going to die. And he goes, okay, so wait, explain that to me. And the monk said, if you're flying on an airplane and you're having an altercation with somebody who's checking the back of your seat, and then all of a sudden the air masks drop down, and you're like trying to, then you're all in the same boat, right? Well, plane, but you know what I mean. And you're all realizing, wait a second, are you going to keep arguing with the person who's like kicking your seat? Or are you going to be like, whoa, wait a second. Here we are experiencing this really scary moment together. We're both humans having this experience, right? And he's like, just remember that this isn't forever. You know, nothing is forever. And so remembering that the preciousness of these moments right here, like no other time. This gets me every time. No other time will we have every single one of these people in these seats at this time, in this room, in this, like this moment is it. With us. Just with us. Sharing this little moment in time, this little experience. Doesn't that just blow your mind? I think it's beautiful. So in 2021, exactly 5 years ago this month, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And this is a picture of me and my son. He was my little ton of fun. But now he's like this tall. Has a deep voice. And still is cute, but just more manly. And that is one of the only pictures I have of myself when I was bald. And I think that I was just too busy trying to survive to take too many more pictures of my own self. It was a really rough year. I was diagnosed in January, and a couple months later started all of the treatments. And while I was going through chemo, my daddy, I'm a daddy's girl, and my daddy got COVID. And I remember putting on a hazmat suit to be able to go and say goodbye to him. And the fact that they even allowed us to say goodbye was, I know it was a gift that a lot of people didn't get during that time. And so my body is very broken at this point in time. That's a happy picture, but I was really actually very gray by the time that was about my second infusion, is when you lose your hair. And then about the third infusion, your skin goes gray. And so I looked very ghostly. And I was saying goodbye to my favorite person. And I was angry. And not only was I angry, but I was incredibly sad. Like sad beyond words. Like talk about dark night of the soul. And I said goodbye to my dad, and then went home and proceeded to have like one more infusion. And after that infusion, I had every side effect in the book. I mean, I know that it's bad for everybody, but my doctor was like, wait, what? You're doing, oh, that's rare. Oh, and that don't help. And I'm like, well, if I'm surprising my doctor, this ain't good. So I'm going to tell you guys a story that I've never told in a group setting, and I've only told a few people on the planet. And I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. All I'm doing with this story is sharing with you what happened to me. I was very sick. I was bowing to the porcelain god. And I was so sick that I couldn't breathe. And all of a sudden, I look down and I see this woman. I could tell she was very, very sick. And she was in like a fetal position. She was just in her bra and panties and she was bald. And I'm looking at her and she's collapsed on a bath mat. And I just feel so much compassion for her. And I'm looking at her thinking, wow, she's not long for this world. And then I have this realization, wait, that's me. And all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys have ever gone parasailing, but when you're on the back of the boat and they like get that parachute ready, you think that it's going to be like this whoosh, and you're like, you know, and the harness is gonna jostle or whatever. But then it doesn't. You're just like, all of a sudden, it gets further and further away, and it's so gentle, and pretty soon, you're just like weightless. And the boat's way down there. And you're able to see like everything. Well, that was the feeling that I had, was I was pulled back in this bright, bright light. And this bright light was so bright, and I don't know how much longer later, but I was trying to adjust to the light, and I became aware of a vibration and sound, like a music kind of, but it just sounded like praise. It just sounded like love, and I can't explain that. It was like a synesthetic experience, like being able to feel, sense something that I've never experienced before. And seeing the colors, all of a sudden colors started showing, and the blades of grass, every blade of grass had a vibration, and they were singing together. It was like not a song, but a vibration that sounded like music. And then all of a sudden, I'm realizing that I'm like feeling them, because the feeling was love. Like the feeling of the grass felt like love coming through me. And then I noticed a flower not too far away. And the flower was vibrating at another, like at a different sound frequency, but harmonizing. I'm like, maybe this is what drugs feel like. And I was so entrenched in this moment that it took me a while, and I don't know how, but I became aware of like a tree. And the tree had a deep resonance, and I could feel its roots going far. And the sound of the tree harmonized with the flower and the grass and everything around us, everything. And out of this brightness comes this figure, and my eyes are still like trying to adjust. I'm just starting to see all of these colors I've never seen before. And this beautiful, amazing, like being comes out of the shadow and like appears to me, and here is one of my ancestors. And I instantly knew her because she's been with me since I was just a little girl. And I've always called her Abuelita. And it means little grandma because she's short. And she comes up to me and she embraces me. And it was like the feeling that I had the first time I held my baby. Like that immense love, that feeling of love when you hold your child for the first time, that feeling when you look at your favorite person on the planet and you just like, your heart wells and lights up. It was like that. And it was also like when you're floating on your back in the water and you're fearless and it just feels like weightlessness and like you're free. It also felt like the most immense love, the best pleasurable sex of your entire life, the most incredible connection that you've ever had during a conversation. It was like the combination of all of those things, all in one hug. It was incredible. And tears instantly, like when your heart fills up so much that it leaks out your eyes. It was that. And she said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And so I started to follow, and something like stopped me. Something kept me from going forward. And I instantly saw all of the things that I had done in my life that I was ashamed of. How I hit my sister back when she kicked me. The feeling that I had in my heart when my friend was mean to me when I was 9 years old. And I just was like, I hope you fall and scrape your knee. All of the things throughout my entire life, the feeling that I had had towards my ex-husband, all of the things that I had inadvertently didn't realize, that my lack of alignment was drawing me further away from my source. Every single neighbor that had pissed me off, or someone that had done something and I had been angry about it, but not in a righteous way. All of that comes rushing back. and she's way, way out ahead. And I'm stuck. And I'm a mess. And I'm feeling so unworthy, and I don't even know why I'm here. And she turns around and she said, now see this. And I saw all the times that I had said something that had helped someone. All of the times that I had actually done something that I thought might be helpful. All of the times that I had felt love or wished someone well. All of the goodness. And I instantly was with her. And she said, focus on that. And she showed me this place that I think some of you have seen enough movies to probably be able to imagine. This place in the mountains that is kind of like a force field, but it's a building, but it mirrors what its surroundings are. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it was this beautiful, amazing place, and I saw so many people walking around, and they were holding books, and they were holding scrolls. I was like, well, that's old. And they were holding something that I don't know what it is, that is very similar to, say, an iPhone, but it doesn't have edges. I don't know what that means either. But it's all these things that people are learning from. And in my mind, I thought, what is that place? And I instantly knew. You can ask a question and you instantly know. It's very cool. And I instantly knew that it was a place of higher learning. And it was just really beautiful. And there was like this, I couldn't find the door. Like I'm looking around for the door and I'm like, where's the door? And I'm seeing like these people getting close, and Juanita said, watch. And I instantly saw this woman who was walking towards the building, like she was gonna go in. And I'm like, where's the door? And she gets close to, she's very happy with what she's studying. And she walks up and she like walks right through the wall. Like right through the wall. She vibrates at the same resonance of that and goes right in. And I was like, started to watch. She goes, I got to show you some more things. And I was like, so I followed her, and she instantly, we were like, whoosh, on the outskirts of like universes. And it was like, you ever seen Star Trek or Star Wars, where they go hyper? So it was kind of like that, but we didn't have a ship. It was just us. And she takes me to the very outskirts, like very far away. I could tell it was very far, but it was like instant. And she shows me this place. There's like this little tiny dot. She goes, you see that? And I knew instantly. Yeah. It was Earth. It was green and blue. And I was like, oh, yep, I know that place. And I instantly felt sadness and so much love. And she said, that's where people go to level up. That's the hardest place. That's the hardest place. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's the hardest place. And I was ready to go back. Like, let's go back to all the pretty. I want to go back to this beautiful place. And she said, you're not yet. Not yet. And I instantly was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. It's so dark. It's lonely. And it's not what I want. And she said, it's not time yet. And next thing I knew, the light was coming in the window of the bathroom, and I'm waking up on the bathroom floor, and there's like this, it's like, you know how the leaves, when there's sunshine coming through the leaves and the leaves are like moving, it was like that. And when I came to, I realized that my body was shaking, and it was my hand in front of my face as I woke up. And it took me a long time to even, like, did that even happen? It was very surreal. Maybe it was a dream. It's a good dream. But what I knew after that experience, besides the fact that I was depressed, because this place is dark, is that we're meant to be the light. That's it. We're meant to be the light. You're the light. You're the light in the darkness. And when we come together, it gets brighter. When I connect and feel my heart with yours, it gets brighter. I wish you guys could see the colors of yourselves right now. Let's do that. Both feet on the floor. I welcome you to do this. You don't have to. You are sovereign. You are love and light and joy and peace, and you can do whatever you want. But I welcome you if you want. Both feet on the floor. Soft gaze or close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. I want you to feel your feet on the floor. And feel where you're touching the seat that you're sitting on. Notice your spine elongating as your crown reaches towards the ceiling, and then your body relaxes. Notice any little thing that your body is telling you. It could be an ache or a pain. It could be, wow, I've sat here a really long time and she's long-winded. It could be, wow, thank you, body, for being the vehicle for my soul in this life. You're just in a costume right now. Feel your costume. Thank it for all the fun that it's given you. All the experiences that you have had. Now notice if you can feel the rise and fall of your chest and belly. Maybe you can feel the blood pumping through your veins. Maybe you can feel your heart beating. Maybe you're following the path of the air that goes into your lungs and watching it as it exits. And now, think about how your heart feels when you think about someone that you love. Feel that so incredibly deeply, like that pure love, that genuine love, that authentic love that no matter what, you're going to love. And I want you to grow that. Now think about a time when you were really, really incredibly proud, like popping your buttons proud. And I want you to think about like that feeling of wanting to just burst because you're so incredibly excited. Think about that feeling. And think about maybe a time when you were so overwhelmed with like the synchronicities in life and how life was just bringing you the perfect person or the perfect experience or the perfect moment. Something that you wanted or needed, or maybe something you didn't even know you needed or wanted. And that serendipitous feeling of like, wow. Think about a time when you connected with someone on such a deep level. It could be a heart-to-heart experience. It could be a sexy moment. It could be a lunch with a friend. Whatever it is, a connection that you had that you were like, wow, that's intense and beautiful. Fill your heart up even more and expand that, expand that, expand that. And now it's like filling your whole area around you as far as you can reach your arms. And now I want you, if it feels so good and so delicious, to like feel that from the person next to you and feel how they're feeling that same thing too. And share that bubble of yours with them. Energetically, only what feels safe and only the goodness and love and joy and peace can come through and be given. Received and given. I'm feeling the love in this room. You are love. You are joy. You are peace. You are this precious, amazing, sacred, sovereign soul, having this incredible human experience. Here you are, you little butterflies, you. Take a big, deep breath. Maybe have a slight smile on your face. Thank the person next to you for sharing their love and joy and peace with you. And as you feel your feet on the floor, in your seat in the chair, maybe slowly opening your eyes, you'll realize that one of the key reasons we are here is to connect. Now I just feel so incredibly blessed to have met you to be in the same room with you, other souls, other seekers that are having this human experience. Thank you for being who and what you are. You have no idea how proud the ones beyond the veil are of you. Like, if you knew, you wouldn't keep forgetting. Like, it would be a constant remembrance of like, oh yeah, I'm love. I'm light. And this isn't some Pollyanna BS. This is not toxic positivity, because life certainly has its moments where it is painful and it is hard and it is horrible. And not everything is peaches and ice cream. But it's just like when you go to the gym and you're working with that resistance, with that weight, that's what makes you stronger, right? So when you're in space, our astronauts, like, atrophy is a real thing. Without gravity and without working those muscles, atrophy happens. So when we're going through all of the BS, all of the things that will distract us from remembering who and what we are, it's just strength training. Treat your tendonitis and move on, you know? I wanted to share with you guys something. I've always loved T.S. Eliot, and in one of his poems, it just really always sticks with me in these moments, and I wanted to quote it like verbatim instead of doing a really bad paraphrase. We shall not cease from exploration. We get to explore ourselves. We get to explore this planet. We get to explore our emotions. We get to lean in and be curious. We get to explore each other and your experience, what you're going through, whatever you're willing to share with the people around you. How beautiful is that? Okay. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Thank you.